Denial, pursed tightly upon her lips, she fixed her face to tell me she wasn't thirsty. That her babies weren't 30 days away from being ripped from her custody. I could sense deception in her teardrops. She was lying to me about water, fibbing to keep her babies near. She almost let me leave them waterless. I wanted to hug her, but I knew her pride was the only ounce of protection she had left to muster, barely hanging on, as if the Reaper had granted her a final run if she could just get herself together. Why do folks gotta beg for water? Hiding behind scarlet letters spray painted to mark their negligence. I wondered what she thought of me, standing there with the fate of her family stuffed inside my trunk. I left 3 gallons of water and walked away. There'd be 10 more mothers for us to hydrate that day. In the second poem, I call this, They Buried Us in Plain Sight. And this talks about the Black women who are missing from the police brutality narrative. They bury us in plain sight. Our brutalized bodies crash to the pavement like shattered dreams. We are the limbs they don't remember. Forgotten gender, obsolete. They ignore us in their sleepwalking. Ridicule us post-mortem. We are their daughters, their sisters, mothers, and nieces, broken pieces of our humanity crushed beneath the weight of a world too tremendous to bear. Angry Black girls, we have a mandate to remain silent. Our screams are but a lonely chorus in a world where rigor mortis has set into their psyches. We were never fully human. Murdered for being a Black girl, for walking like a Black girl. We keep on talking to Black girl. We're not entitled to our drama. They say we get it from our mamas, but the world hates them too. Little Black girls, I cry for you. You are the reflection in my mirror. A boogie woman to a racist world hell-bent on fearing us. We scream your name after every assassination. Drown our flesh in tears. Through your post-mortem humiliation, they drag your flesh through mud to justify your slaughter. Little Black daughter, we will fight for you until they let you live or kill us all. Because the world is but a shell if we all fall. Yeah.
See, now I know Detroit's in good hands, I can disappear again.
No.
Ivy. Thank you.
This is called White is Not Supreme and Resistance is Everything. I can't call them white anymore because I have been trained to think of white as good, as pure, as angelic. Although I now avoid white flour, white potatoes, white rice, and especially white sugar. Sugar is so seductive and the impact so deadly, maybe I should call them bad. Native Americans call them paleface. Some Africans call them Mzungu, others Oberoni, meaning dizzy or foreign. But pale reminds me of wholesale, large-scale genocide, so that seems appropriate. I certainly can't call the most evil, bigots, and racists to ever walk the planet supreme. That hurts my spirit and trains me to think a certain way, just like chanting resistance is futile trains us to be passive. It's really fear of their inferiority that drives the pale racist, because if you believe you are superior, if you think you are at least adequate, you don't have to act like a bully. You only steal others' work when you know your work has no value. You only resort to cheating when you know you can't win any other way, and to you, winning is everything. You lie if you find your truth unbearable. Some pale people try to take everything from colored people, our property, our labor, and our lives, whether in seconds by the men in blue whose salaries we pay, or whether it takes years from the poison we buy from them on a daily basis and put in the air, in the water, and on and in our bodies. We have to know, and we have to teach others that we are the strong ones, and we are the moral ones, and we are the supreme ones. We have not only survived, we have thrived. We have endured and we have resisted in 100 different ways, known and unknown. We must continue to expose the truth and tune out the bullshit. We have to stop falling for the hype. We have to stop paying for our own destruction. And we have to stop medicating away the pain with panaceas that kill us. Resistance is everything. Thank you.
And Owusu Millard, where you at, baby? There you go.
I can see today when black folks give up on the bleach blonde white boys, good blue babies, obese Asians, and black guys in turbans singing from the sky, and start saving ourselves from ourselves. There will come a day when most of white folks will drop dead from a bad idea that was in us only. Then we'll be able to buy out some African souls, of black ones, veils, robes. The only thing white folks think they'll see is these silver souls. Pimps, preachers, prostitutes, politicians ain't waiting for no profit. One more nigga run for that white office and they'll be illegal. They'll be illegal to vote, illegal to nominate, to campaign, or lobby to be elected to that big-ass white Capitol in the sky. Damn niggas. Then turn this White House into a big prison and won't even let us inmates even email. It's a state of mind. It's a state of mind. Not just my mind. I see today we stopped spending hard-earned black bucks on space cavaliers and peace out.
Charles with something in his hand.
Who's there?
I see Charles with something in his hand.
Come on down here. Come on down here, Mr. Invisible. Thank you, Ivy. I don't know. She's going to sign your hand. No one else.
Most of you familiar with my participation in the Charles Wright Museum that started 2012. The fact that the museum at that time did not have an annual Malcolm X Day program. And this was the result of a book that came out by Maribel Manning called A Life of Reinvention, which many felt wouldn't stand up to peer review. There was an attack on Malcolm in the book, and later Herb Boyd, Alana Karinga, Ron Daniels, and Haki Mahfoudi actually published a book called Malcolm X Real, not Reinvented, a compilation of a number of scholars. So we actually read through the book and found out it was really an attack on Malcolm. And after reading the book, I reflected on this. I was in touch with Professor Bill Strickland. So I really wasn't going to speak, but I was called down by Michele and I thought I would read just this brief poem that's called Malcolm, You Said They Would Come. And it's dedicated to Dr. Bill Strickland, a former professor of mine at Amherst. Malcolm, oh Malcolm, our undying Malcolm. Neo-colonial academics, unknown to the grassroots, inside white with black skins and sterile movement experience. As late as 2011 are falsely calling your name. Pulitzer-sanctioned untruths, layered over 500 pages, cannot put out your transforming fire. El Hajj, Malik, El Shabazz, no. They seek to extract your long, sharp, deeply rooted lion teeth and rip apart at the bone your magnificent outstretched wings with CIA, FBI, Farrakhanian, get your hand out of my pocket, smoke bombs, spoken through the dead marble mouth of Manning. They can never remove your red, black, and green halo, eternally visible to the conscious community. You said they would come, that they would come with bullets, shot from underneath the floor where you stood. FBI and police who followed your every move since 1950, absent. Informant vampire on stage sucking your last breath. Detroit Red, the bullets are still coming, slicing the air, bullets of lies, coming for the hearts of our children, true understanding of you, where your trajectory was evolving. Those of us who know you by having known you, through listening to you, through serious study, listening to your surgical words, watching the way you move throughout the U.S., Africa, and Europe. We're clearing away the foul smell of Manning's reinvention and his endorsers. They placed your image on a U.S. postal stamp without your rifle. They're saying you espouse multiracial, integrationist, anti-black nationalist, anti-pan-Africanist positions. They want to powder your face with their aspirations and freeze you in European ice. Malcolm, Detroit red, black, and green, too big to be little. Yeah. El Hajj Malik El Shabazz.
Oh, right. See now, there's a reason this museum's programming has gotten so good. There you go. And seriously, I mean, without his untiring effort, so many of the opportunities for us to gather, reflect, organize, and learn from each other would not be occurring in this institution. So thank you very much, Charles. And keep it up. And in that spirit, tomorrow, between 2 and 4 in the theater, we're going to continue the spirit of this presentation, but in a somewhat different form. We're going to have a panel, which I'm participating in, on the legacy of Ken Cockrell. How many of you here have had the experience of actually being with Ken when he was alive, working with him? See? Okay. Well, the panel will begin with a 10-minute video, which is Ken in his own words, a series of clips from Detroit Black Journal, from 1971, the University of Detroit rally, where we began the campaign to abolish stress, up until his untimely death in 1989. So especially for those of you who have not had the experience of being with Ken when he was a dynamic part of our community, I urge you to come and tell other young people about it. And for those of you who knew the man and worked with him, I also urge you to come to keep the record straight. So 2 to 4 tomorrow, is it the theater?
Yes.
The theater. All right.
We do so many programs here that sometimes it's hard for our marketing department to keep up. The night of anniversary of the Algiers Motel Teenage Murders by Racist Police, we had a program before going to the Fox Theater to see Captain Bigelow's rendition. What was missing in the film was a number of things, but one was the fact that there was a People's Tribunal that happened August 30th. A very important tribunal. About 2,000 to 3,000 people came out to the shrine. People were in attendance, like Rosa Parks was one of the jurors. Kenny Cochran, who we spoke of, was the prosecuting attorney. Justin Ravitz. Ed Brown is going to be here, who was a juror. It was convened really by conversation between H. Rap Brown and Danny Aldridge. Monty Pete, who will be here, of course, not H. So we have some people who are actually involved. Some of the family members who was of the brothers, sisters, I said brothers who was killed. Carl Cooper, 17, Fred Temple, 18, Aubrey Pollard, 19. The family members will come, and some of the participants like Leo Forsythe and James Sorter. So we're going to have actually family members come August 30th. If you can mark your calendars and spread the word. We're doing the 50th anniversary of the People's Tribunal. It's called the Algiers Motel Massacre, which it was. So please come out. We'll have flyers coming out on that very important historic program here. Let's continue to fight and continue to struggle. Thank you.
That's right.
Also, just one other announcement, Freedom School will be starting. I'm looking at Dr. House in September. There's another major initiative we have at the museum is to try to correct. This is now we're going to be moving transitionally from the year of rebellion, moving into the year of reparations. To expand the word of reparations, how do we repair and rebuild our global community? So this is one act that we're doing in terms of reparations, is to have a community educational where you have scholars, former professors teaching our kids every Saturday from 10 to 1, adding a tutoring session at the end up until 1 o'clock. So we're expanding that. It's good to see revolutionaries in the audience. So thank you again for coming.
another griot in our galaxy, Leona M and Pori Pitts. I hear teaching rocks how to rest.